welcome to Queer Conversation again, Danny. Danny is the author of a recently released book, She and Her Pretty Friend, and our session today is about introducing two of the characters in the book. Who are you introducing today, Danny?
I'm introducing Lilian Violet Cooper and Josephine Bedford. They were two women from England who migrated to Brisbane, and they lived together for about 60 years and are buried together now in Brisbane. So Lilian Cooper was Queensland's first female doctor and surgeon, and Josephine Bedford had a crucial role in the public playground movement. So they were both very active in the community, very well known and respected. Like I said, they lived together throughout decades and served in World War I in Serbia for a year. So they're very interesting people. They were actually living together in England before they moved because Lilian had to move out of home to go to medical school, and Josephine went with her because I think it was Lilian's parents didn't want her living alone. She needed a sort of like companion, a friend. So Josephine moved in with her, and I think Josephine studied art while Lilian was doing medicine. And then there was a call out in Queensland. Queensland wanted, Brisbane specifically wanted a female doctor. So Lilian took that opportunity and they both moved to Queensland together. And Lilian passed away in 1947, and Josephine, I can't remember the date, but I think she passed away in the 1950s or early 60s. So yeah, very recently. I'm pretty sure out of all the women I included, they had lived together for the longest and had they were together since their early 20s and lived for such a long time. So it obviously showed like such a dedicated relationship, whether it was romantic or not. And they are buried together, and I think they were just so interesting, and also they were just so unique for the area as well. I couldn't really find any other examples in Queensland of potentially queer women in Queensland during that time. So I thought they were very unique for the time period. In newspapers and that sort of thing, they were always like referred to by name together. Like it was Miss Cooper and Miss Bedford. So they were kind of like not in a romantic couple sense, I think, because obviously for the time period, homosexuality wasn't as common or talked about. So they were kind of thought of as just these like two close friends who were just always together. And if anyone was suspicious about the relationship, I guess they just kept it private or didn't speak about it. There are some other women in my book who were buried together as well, like Anne Drysdale and Caroline Newcomb, and Cecilia John, who was a suffragist who moved to England. She was buried with her partner after they both passed away. So yeah, it wasn't necessarily unusual, and I suppose because people would have known about their very like long-standing relationship. And on the headstone, Josephine was like under her name it was saying lifelong friend of the above, meaning Lilian. So it was kind of acknowledged even in death that they were just lifelong friends. So Lilian was very respected because she had a medical practice for a few decades, and people would come to her for all sorts of things, and she would do home visits. So she was respected in that way. And Josephine did a lot of charity work and was interested in the well-being of children and everything, and that's what led her to the Playground Association. And she helped establish one of Queensland's first public playgrounds, which I think it was in Ithaca. And yeah, so they were just very, very like community minded and very respectable middle-class women who had some sort of influence over the community. While I was researching, there was a bit of like hardship apparently for Lilian when she first came over to Queensland and began her medical practice, because obviously it was a very like male focused industry at that time, and there weren't many women in Australia studying medicine. I think women in Australia had only just begun studying medicine and practicing in the 1890s. So there was a bit of backlash about that, about like how a woman shouldn't be pursuing this career and everything. But I think over time she became very influential in Queensland, and people came to trust and know and respect her. So yeah.